Mayor, the meeting is now being recorded and streamlined.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the September 23rd, 2024, 6 p.m. regular joint meeting of the Bell Garden City Council and Successor Agency to the Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order at 6:04 p.m. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website and as noted on the agenda. If any of the members should have a conflict of interest, please announce any item you are recusing from due to a conflict of interest prior to the item being heard. Okay. See none. Okay, tonight's invocation will be given by Pastor Leal, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Girl Scout Troop 2543. Pastor?
I do not see the pastor here. Oh, thank you. Hi, Pastor.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, all the rest of the councilmen and councilwomen. It's such a blessing to be here, and all the employees and all the staff, our citizens. Life has so much troubles, but when we realize how blessed we are just to be here and to see each one of you, it just brings joy to my heart. I was walking down here. I don't live far. I was just thinking of the many blessings that we have in the United States for this great country and for all the liberties that we have. So let us pray. Let us remember that as we pray, we come into the presence of God. So I ask each one of you if you can come to your feet and let us bow our heads and let us just thank God for His blessings and invite Him to be with us. Father, we just want to thank you for this evening. Father, I want to thank you for each one of our leaders, starting with our mayor, all the team that they have gathered in our city, all the great men and women that make our city work, our chief. Father, thank you for the work that they do. Father, we just want you to be with us in this meeting. May you guide us, may you guide them, and just give them the wisdom, the grace. May your presence be on them and in each one that speaks, Father, that everything that takes place tonight, Father, will be according to your will. And Father, we ask this in the precious name of Jesus, in whom we say amen. Thank you.
Please stay standing. Face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated.
Thank you. City Clerk, please call roll of the members of the City Council and Successor Agency.
Yes, thank you. Members of the Council and Successor Agency, Chavez.
Present.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Barcena.
Present.
And Mayor Gomez.
Present. And now we will move on to the presentations. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Gomez. The first presentation we have tonight is for National Community Planning Month. Mayor Pro Tem Barcena has the presentation, and the recipient here will be Gus Romo, along with several members of his team as well. So I'll turn over to Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for allowing me to present this proclamation in honor of Community Planning Month this October 2024. And for those of you watching from home, this is what the proclamation looks like, and I will go ahead and read it. Whereas community planning and development play a vital role in managing change and providing better options for how people live and work, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the full benefits of community planning are realized when public servants and community members alike embrace and uphold ethics, excellence, and sustainable plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas the American Planning Association endorses National Community Planning Month as a time to highlight the critical role planning plays in community recovery and the leadership planners provide in fostering equitable, resilient, and long-term recovery. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and residents who have contributed time and expertise to the improvement of the city. And whereas we also recognize the invaluable contributions of the City of Bell Garden staff, professional community, and urban planners, and extend our deepest thanks for their unwavering commitment to public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that our Mayor, Gabriela Gomez, and the City Council hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Community Planning Month in the City of Bell Gardens, in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. Proclaimed this 23rd day of September 2024 and signed by our mayor and the rest of the council. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much. Community planning it sounds easier, it sounds kind of simple, right? Community planning, but there's a lot that goes into it, and I do appreciate the work that you do every day. Thank you so much. Anyone else that can make comments? Would you like to say something?
Sorry, my fingers are dry. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the City Council, for recognizing community planning every year. We truly appreciate that. Our staff from planning is here as well. We'd love to take a picture with you. And again, thank you so much for this recognition.
Mayor Gomez, the next presentation we have is for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Councilmember Jorge Chavez will read the presentation, and we have Norma Yoguez from Spirit Family Counseling here to receive the presentation. I'll turn it over to the councilmember. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. City Manager. City of Bell Gardens proclamation, a proclamation on Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas Domestic Violence Month was launched nationwide in October 1987 as a way to connect and unite individuals and organizations working on domestic violence issues while raising awareness for those issues. And while our nation has made significant progress in addressing domestic violence by responding to the stories and leadership of courageous survivors, as well as through advocacy and legislative actions, domestic violence nonetheless remains all too common in America, and millions of women and men are impacted by some form of intimate partner abuse each year, and domestic violence can cause injury, fear, post-traumatic stress disorder, housing insecurity, missed school or work, and other devastating consequences, and historically underserved populations, including LGBTQI+, survivors, persons with disabilities, immigrants, racial and ethnic minorities, and American Indians, Alaskan Natives, and Native Hawaiians face some of the highest rates of domestic and sexual violence, along with additional barriers to safety and support. And as we continue the essential work of ending domestic violence, we can all help build a culture where abuse is not tolerated and where survivors are heard, supported, and protected. And we can express our gratitude to the remarkable people and organizations that offer care and critical services to survivors of domestic violence, and we must remain committed to building a better world where all people can feel safe and respected and live free from abuse. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Gabriela Gomez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, along with the City Council, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as National Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, and encourage residents of Bell Gardens to speak out against domestic violence and support efforts to educate all people about healthy relationships centered on respect, support victims and survivors in your own families and networks, and support the efforts of victim advocate services and healthcare providers and the legal system, as well as the leadership of survivors in working to end the domestic violence. Proclaim this 23rd September 2024, signed Gabriela Gomez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, along with the Bell Gardens City Council.
Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Thank you to our city councils and to our Bell Gardens mayor. I really appreciate Mr. Camacho. Thank you for inviting us. It's always an honor to be here. The work that we've been doing here in the community is not being the sole credit for Spirit Family Services, but the help of several of you. Ms. Gabriela, Mr. Barco Barcena, Mr. Chavez, thank you so much for the support that you've been giving us to Spirit in this last year. So it's an honor to be here. And I'm wondering if we can also take a picture. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we jumped the gun. Let's hear
I'm
some
sorry,
comments.
I should have spoke out
Sorry.
earlier, but I did want to say a few words. I just want to express my appreciation for Spirit Family Services for working in our community and providing education and support for people that unfortunately have to face violence in their homes and in their communities. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're all here today, and we're all here for very specific reasons. You know, we have council members that are in education, social services. I worked in recreation all my life. We have people that work for unions. And we're also recognizing tonight our community development department, right? It might sound like they're all different things, but they all come together like a puzzle. And really, these elements are what we have to figure out how to connect and work together. And I'm just thankful for you taking on that role, but also for the council that's always been very supportive of the organization and all of the events and all of the programs that you guys bring to our community. So for those of you that don't know, Spirit Family Services is right across the street. It's just right over on the next block. And they provide a lot of services for the entire family. So we really appreciate you. We value what you do, and thank you for the council, for the council's support. That's all.
Very soon we're the Successor treatment program, hopefully also mental health, and probably it's gonna be by the end of next month the grand opening, because the state has to come down and certify the site. So thank you also, Mr. Barcena, because you also helped me and guide me to get the documentation that I needed to submit our application. So thank you so much to the City Council and to Ms. Gabriela for the support that is being given to us during this year. So the other one is
Excuse me, and if you could speak at the podium so we can have it recorded. Thank you.
The other one that we wanted to promote, of course, is on October 4th, we have our vigil that is taking place at the Veterans Park from 6 to 8 p.m. Come and support us. You know, this is very important. This is in support of our survivors and also victims of domestic violence. We know that our statistics says that 1 in 4 homes are experiencing or have experienced domestic violence. So our our children need support, our women need support, and we need to continue empower them. And this, simple act really empower a lot of the individuals that are coming out of our domestic violence, and also men. We have more and more men actually coming out and talking more about domestic violence. It's not only women, it's also men. Okay, thank you so much. We have some flyers here. The community, we invite you to come and support us. We're gonna have chocolate and churros on that day at the end of the vigil. Thank you.
Let's go take a picture. All right.
Thanks again, Mayor. The third presentation we have for tonight is the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mayor Gomez will be giving the presentation for that, and the recipient we have with us is Maritza Quevedo, Outreach and Enrollment Supervisor from Family Healthcare Centers of Greater Los Angeles, which is right up the street on Gage and Garfield. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So this proclamation is in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime, about 13% of all women. And whereas according to the National Cancer Institute, in 2024 in the U.S. alone, an estimated 310,720 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and about 42,250 will die of the disease. Whereas breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among American women and notably accounts for 30% of all new cancer cases in women. And whereas a woman's risk of breast cancer nearly doubles if she has a first-degree relative who has been diagnosed with breast cancer, about 85% of breast cancers occur in women who have no family history of breast cancer. Although the exact cause of breast cancer is unknown, most experts agree that there are several factors that increase your risk, such as gender, age, genetics, family history, weight, and race. And whereas, although rare, men also get breast cancer, and in 2024, an estimated 2,790 men in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and about 530 of those will die of the disease. And whereas we applaud the advocates and medical professionals, researchers, and caregivers who dedicate their lives to making progress toward cures, and whereas even with all the new and effective treatments, we must continue to stand alongside those stricken with and survivors of breast cancer in a united effort to seek out better, more effective treatments, or ultimately a cure for the many forms of breast cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Gabriela Gomez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, with the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and encourage all residents of Bell Gardens to increase awareness by having annual detection practices and pay tribute to those who have lost their lives to this disease. Proclaim this 23rd day of September, 2024.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here. As we proclaim October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, let us not forget cancer never sleeps. Our agency is always looking ahead and always reminding the community to get screened. Screening and early detection play an important role in your health and survival. At Family Healthcare Centers, we have a cancer detection program for both cervical and breast cancer. We work with the Every Woman Counts program and pro-life imaging to eliminate any barriers of those patients that don't have the ability to pay. You know, Family Healthcare Centers is always outreaching to those in the community and reminding them of the importance of their routine screenings. You know, like as I mentioned, we do have a breast a cancer detection program that covers the breast and cervical cancer. And let's remind ourselves, breast cancer is not only in females, it also happens to males as well. And I wanted to thank the community and, you know, for all the support. I would like to invite everyone to our 15th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Health Fair at our Bell Gardens Family Medical Center, Saturday, October 5th, 2024. And, you know, I wanted to say a special thanks to Neighborhood Watch and the Community Family Service Center and the City of Bell Gardens council members for all their ongoing support.
Thank you. Do we have any comments?
Lastly, a picture. I don't know if you guys
Yes,
have
absolutely a
Thank you.
picture.
Thanks again, Mayor Gomez. The fourth and final presentation we have for tonight is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I will ask Councilmember Sanchez to read the presentation. There was initially a request for this presentation from a Dr. Amy Firestein and Stephen Firestein. They weren't able to make it today. They're not present. I'll turn it over to Councilmember. Thank you, Mayor.
A proclamation in honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Week, September 29th through October 5th, 2024, and also in honor of my godson, who is a childhood cancer survivor and warrior, whereas the American Cancer Fund for Children and Kids Cancer Connection report cancer is the leading cause of death by disease among U.S. children between infancy and age 15. This tragic disease is detected in more than 16,000 of our country's young people every year. And whereas 1 in 5 of our nation's children loses his or her battle with cancer, many infants, children, and teens will suffer from long-term effects of comprehensive treatment, including secondary cancers. An estimated 400,000 children and adolescents are diagnosed globally with cancer each year. And whereas over 35 years ago, by Stephen Firestein, a member of the branch of Max Factor Cosmetic family, the American Cancer Fund for Children, Kids Cancer Connection, along with the Lions Club International, are dedicated to helping these children and their families. And whereas the American Cancer Fund for Children and Kids Cancer Connection also sponsors toy distribution, home and hospital instruction, family sailing, art therapy, pet assistance therapy, KCC Family House, Laughternoon, Laughter is Healing, It's Magic, Nothing is Impossible, KCC Supercar Experience, and hospital celebrations in honor of a child's determination and bravery to fight the battle against childhood cancer. Now, there it be resolved that Gabriela Gomez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, with the City Council, do hereby proclaim September 29th through October 5th as Childhood Cancer Awareness Week in the City of Bell Gardens. Proclaim this 23rd day of September 2024, signed by our Mayor, Gabriela Gomez.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Nope. Okay, then we'll move on. We will now begin with item number 1 on the agenda. At this time, I will open the public hearing at 6:28 p.m. City Manager, will you please introduce this item?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor Gomez. This item is a consideration of ordinance number 950, amending Title 6 of the Bell Gardens Municipal Code by adding a streamlined permit requirements for electric vehicle charging stations. I'll turn it over to our Deputy City Manager, Community Development Director, Gus Romo, to provide more information in a presentation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, Mayor, and members of the City Council. I'm going to have our Associate Planner, Mr. Adrian Flores, present this. He's been doing a lot of hard work on this, along with our City Planner and our other Associate Planner, Mona Masai. Adrian?
Hello. Thank you, Mr. City Manager and Deputy City Manager Director Romo. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and honorable council members. I'm Adrian Flores, Associate Planner with the Community Development Planning Division, and tonight I will be introducing Ordinance 950 for electrical vehicle charging stations permit streamlining. So today, during this presentation, the council will hear justification for the update and ordinance analysis to one, determine the proposed ordinance exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act under the categorical common sense guideline. Two, introduce ordinance number 950 by title and waive full reading. And lastly, three, conduct a public hearing to consider ordinance 950 to establish permit streamlining procedures for electric vehicle charging stations to comply with state requirements. So a little background, this ordinance did originate from two assembly bills. AB 1236 requires cities' review of electric vehicle charging stations projects must only consider health and safety requirements and the infrastructure necessary for charging station function. The bill's goal is to improve the availability and convenience of charging options for electric vehicle owners and supporting the broader option of electric vehicles. AB 970 is to further the availability of charging infrastructure by streamlining issuance of permits to help drive deployment of zero-emission vehicles for improved air quality and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. So Ordinance 950 introduces three definitions for electric submittal, specific adverse impact, and feasible method. The term electronic submittal would encompass all forms of online submittals available on the city's online platforms. The term specific adverse impact and feasible method would be used to clarify when an electric vehicle charging station is denied or disapproved due to the likelihood of that installation would have on a negative impact upon the public health or safety with no feasible method to satisfactorily mitigate or avoid specific adverse impact. Now, the purpose of the ordinance is to establish Chapter 6.35 in the Bell Gardens Municipal Code, which would outline responsibilities of city officials, the review process for permit applications, and criteria for requiring conditional use permits in cases where a significant adverse impact on public health or safety is identified. The overall intent would be to support goals of reduced greenhouse gas emissions and overall improve air quality. Ordinance 950 is consistent with general plan circulation element. General plan circulation and policy M5.4 emphasizes the city's commitment to promote the creation of electric vehicle charging spaces and local parking provision requirements. Now, Ordinance 950 would increase access to charging stations in high traffic areas, such as commercial corridors and nearby public facilities. Additionally, establishing streamlined permittation procedures aligns with policy M5.4. Ordinance 950 is consistent with land use element policies 3, 4, and 5, facilitating cleaner transportation technology, restricting the review to essential health and safety aspects, and increasing the availability of rapid deployment of charging stations, benefiting both private and local economic interests, would implement and support policies 3, 4, and 5 of the general plan land use element. During this presentation, Council heard background of the need for an ordinance to align with state requirements, general plan consistency with existing policies in both the circulation and land use elements, and ordinance analysis to establish an electric vehicle charging station permit streamlining process within the building code that justifies staff's recommendation to City Council to do the following. One, determine the proposed ordinance exempt from provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act under the categorical exemption of common sense guideline. 2, introduce ordinance 950 by title only and waive full reading. And lastly, of course, conduct a public hearing to consider ordinance number 950 to establish permit streamlining procedures for electric vehicle charging stations to comply with state requirements. Thank you. That concludes staff's presentation. Staff and city attorney staff is available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. We will now move to council member questions or comments. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? My only question is what exactly does streamlining look like when we're talking about streamlining the process? What are we talking about specifically?
Sure, yeah. So it's based on 2 factors. So if there is a proposal of 25 electric charging stations or left, building staff has 5 days to respond to the application. And that could either be identifying as the application as incomplete or identifying as complete and ready for permit issuance. If there's 25 charging stations or more, then they have 10 days to react. So it's either incomplete or complete.
Thank you. We will now open public comments for this item. I will call 3 speakers at a time. Please make your way over to the podium to line up. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Thank you. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on public hearing item number 1. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone. Individuals joining us through Zoom may make a request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will first hear from speakers that are in person, and we did not receive any written communication.
Thank you. Our first speaker, initials BC.
Good evening. Couldn't pass this one up, that's for sure. Streamlining requirements for charging stations. You ought to give up on the electric vehicles. It's a waste of time. They're pieces of junk. There's EV graveyards over in China because nobody wants their junk. Nobody wants the car. They can't afford the car. They can't afford to charge the car. You need to get back to what is progress, and that's fossil fuels. Fossil fuels available, cheap, and dependable. And that's what we need to get back on, because even the federal government, I don't know how many billions of dollars they spend for charging stations. They didn't build but 2 or 3, which I think it come to about $15 billion per charging station. So that's how efficient the federal government has been. But give up. Give up. This is just a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. You're not cutting out any greenhouse gases. I mean, if you look at greenhouse gases, you've got methane. You want to eliminate methane? When you grow rice, that produces methane. Are we going to eliminate the growing of rice, a food staple throughout the world? 80% of the world's population eats rice. You can't make a lot of food without rice. Think about that. Methane, cow flatulence, or farts, if you want to prefer it that way. That means you got to get rid of the beef too, because they produce methane. And it's going to kill us all, right? No, it's not. The beef provides protein for the brain, which makes a higher IQ for the society. That's what we want. Carbon dioxide. We're carbon-based human beings. How many human beings you want to get rid of? If you want to eliminate greenhouse gases, you got to get rid of humans. There's too many. There's 9 billion on the planet now. Let us know. What is the number? What would be a sufficient number for you to eliminate of human beings to get rid of carbon? Let us know. I think you don't have any original ideas. I've listened to the readings that every one of you have done. You've listened listen to the AI-generated sheet in front of you and even struggled to read it. Start coming up with some original ideas. But the carbon dioxide, if we don't have carbon dioxide, we can't grow food either. So what kind of food do you want to provide people? Give up on these EV stations. They're a waste of time.
If there is no objection by members of the City Council successor agency, I will close public participation for public hearing item number 1. If there are no further council member questions or comments, I will now close the public hearing at 6:39 p.m. May I have a motion to waive the full reading and introduce ordinance number 950 by title only to add the streamlined permit requirements for electric vehicle charging stations to comply with state law?
I'll move.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Barcena and a second by Councilmember Chavez. City Clerk, please call a roll call vote.
Thank you. Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Chavez?
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Barcena?
Yes.
And Mayor Gomez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
We will now move to public participation for items not listed on the agenda. Public participation is now open. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items not listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute period, unless announced otherwise. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through Zoom may make a request by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will first hear from speakers that are in person, and we did not receive any written communication.
Okay, our first speaker is Maria Ortega. Is Maria Ortega here? Okay, we will move on. Lilia?
Buenas tardes a todos. Se está hablando de la concientización de las enfermedades infecciosas. A eso es a lo que yo vengo. Ustedes saben que la dirección que yo vivo depende de lo que son trailers y pequeños apartamentos. Entonces, la vecina que yo tengo, se han hecho varios reportes y últimamente lo que está pasando es que cada vez es peor ese aroma que sale de su casa. Yo no sé la persona si está enferma, es como una sociópata, se puede decir, porque lo que emana de ahí de dentro son unos aromas muy fuertes. Yo no sé si tenga animales muertos, no sé. Y la otra cosa también es que uno de mis hijos es asmático crónico. Entonces, cuando nosotros vamos a comer, ese aroma nosotros no podemos abrir una ventana porque ya entra. También uno de los niños, a un nieto, el niño hace deporte. El niño siempre pasa tapado de la nariz. Se han hecho varios reportes a esto, pero no sé qué es lo que más se tenga que hacer para que puedan entrar a esa casa, porque ahí huele como si hubieran animales muertos. Entonces yo a eso vengo, y si vamos a hacer concientización de lo que es las enfermedades infecciosas, para mí esa es una enfermedad infecciosa. Desafortunadamente yo no puedo grabar ese aroma para que ustedes lo puedan ver. Es solo llegar y mirar que no se puede ni acercar a la puerta porque es muy fuerte ese aroma. Y cada día es peor, créanme lo que cada día es peor. Y pues yo vengo a que ustedes, si me pueden ayudar en algo, lo hagan y busquen la manera de entrar ahí. ¿Cómo? No sé, solamente ustedes. Y eso es lo que yo vine ahora, porque me preocupa porque hay niños menores. Y aparte no es nada más que digamos el aroma que sale, sino que la señora es la que amenaza a los niños ya no pueden salir afuera. Entonces, si existe mucha protección para los niños, yo pido que se haga algo, porque hay menores ahí y ya no pueden ni salir para afuera porque corren para adentro y están asustados porque o les va a trozar la cabeza o les dice que les va a pegar o les avienta con el bastón con todo lo que tiene. Entonces, si la persona vive ahí y está causando problemas, está habiendo enfermedades infecciosas por lo que ella tiene en su casa, yo pienso que es una persona que no debe de estar ahí. Y es delicado, créanmelo, es delicado. Gracias.
Gracias. Señora Lilia. Our next speaker is Cassandra.
Buenas tardes, miembros del concilio y sus ciudadanos aquí presentes. Bueno, pues como apoyo con una de nuestras vecinas y como miembro activa de la Unión de Vecinas, nuestro enfoque es apoyar a esos vecinos en circunstancia. Desde el 2019 que empecé este movimiento con ellas, llegué a conocer a Lili y noté esas condiciones a un lado de su casa. Imagínense, el 2019. Enseguida se vino la pandemia, yo seguía trabajando, estábamos trabajando con lo de control de renta, seguíamos apoyando a las trailitas y seguía la misma condición. Yo me imaginé, bueno, ha de ser gatos muertos o algo, no sé, pero no, pasó un año, pasó 2 años. Para el 2022 hicimos un reporte aquí a la ciudad donde mandaron unos inspectores. ¿Y qué es lo que pasó? Que la señora puso un letrero: tengo COVID, nadie entre. Entonces fue imposible que los inspectores entraran. Yo llamé, soy miembro activa de CBI, de una organización del medio ambiente, y también hice el reporte con mi organización, a lo que se dio el aviso a Cal EPA, donde se dio ese reporte, donde esta organización entró. ¿Y qué fue lo que pasó? Que no le abrió la puerta a la mujer. Cuando fueron estas personas, se dieron cuenta de que era un olor nauseabundo. Y les estoy hablando del 2023, cuando por fin llegaron. Y dijeron, ok, vamos a enviar estas cartas aquí a los dueños de estas propiedades. Y todo quedó ahí. No han podido entrar con esta persona. El día jueves, nuevamente me di una vuelta con ella y pude percatar un olor extremadamente horrible. Era de animal muerto, era como si fuera una persona muerta ahí. Estudié medicina forense, sé lo que se siente ese olor nauseabundo. Es insoportable. No entiendo. Cuando le dije a Lili, la volteé y la abracé y le dije, ¿sabes qué? ¿Cómo puedes vivir así? ¿Cómo pueden vivir niños a un lado de su casa con ese olor? Es algo extremadamente fuerte. Sé que hay leyes de exposición aquí en California donde hay códigos de seguridad y de salud, donde estas personas se están exponiendo a unos terceros, y sé que hay leyes que protegen a esas personas, porque está haciendo intencionalmente eso. Sé que esto se puede reportar. Ya lo hemos hecho ante la ciudad, lo hemos hecho ante Cal EPA. Ya no sabemos a dónde ir, porque tiene que haber algo para que entren con esa persona. Ayúdenos, es todo lo que pedimos. Gracias.
Gracias. The next speaker is initials BC.
That's right. In the words of Pauly Shore, I'm back. A lot of things happening tonight. National community planning, considering a 15-minute city being one designed by the European Union for you, maybe the United Nations. Of course, that's what it is. Your community development team does doesn't develop anything. They just take the orders from on top as they send them on down. Domestic violence, yeah. I mean, people tell me I ain't much of a feminist. I may not be much of a feminist, but I don't think guys should be beating on women or girls. I don't think that's cool at all. I don't even think guys who say they're girls should be going into the bathroom with 10-year-old girls, especially my daughter or granddaughter. That's absolutely absurd, but every one of you think that's okay. You think that's equity and acceptance and tolerance, and you think it's legal. It's absurd, absolutely absurd. Breast cancer, childhood cancer, I would like to encourage you to eliminate the vaccine clinics you have over at the park. We now know that the vaccines also cause an acceleration of various cancers now. Not only has it killed over 30 million people, but you're accelerating the diseases as a result of these poison shots. Even Francis Collins, the director of NIH, is starting to admit that the shots were indeed poison. He's trying to backtrack now and cover CYA, his own, because now the tide has turned. People are found out, and the truth is out there now that these poison shots do just that. Get rid of those things. You're killing people over there. You're killing them. That's about it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mayra Rodriguez.
Buenas tardes, gracias por permitirme estar aquí con ustedes y poderles compartir mi queja, ¿verdad? Me refiero a todos los concejales, a Gaby, a Marcos, a Jorge y a Vero, por favor, que pongan atención en esto que les acaba de mencionar mi compañera. Mi nombre es Mayra Rodríguez, tengo 25 años viviendo aquí en Bell Gardens y también apoyo lo que está diciendo esta Lili Chávez sobre todo esto que está pasando ahí en donde vive, en las trailers, ¿verdad? Son trailers que están allí en la Florence. Tiene mucha contaminación y olor. Yo quiero hacerlos que piensen, tengan un poquito de memoria, no lo pongan yo puedo, no debo. Quiero que vean en estos calores que acaban de pasar, ¿se imaginan cuánto aumenta el olor? ¿Qué nos ganamos con ir a las organizaciones si están ocupados igual que ustedes? Ustedes que son de aquí de Bell Gardens, ¿a quién más nos iremos a dirigir? Si ustedes no pueden hacerlo, ¿quién lo va a hacer? ¿Tenemos que ir más arriba de ustedes? ¿Tenemos que ir a al condado para ver si ellos pueden ayudarnos o escucharnos un poco más? Los nietos de Lili Chávez tienen asma. Sus gemelitas son de 5 o 6 años. No sé si ustedes tienen hijos, nietos, sobrinos, primos. Es horrible y luego no tienen aire acondicionado. Estar encerrados en esas incomodidades es insalubre, es inhumano. Es inhumano para una madre traer hacia sus hijos. ¿A dónde los voy a llevar? Recientemente yo soy abuela ya y no me gustaría que mi nieta pasara esto. Malos olores, encerradas en una sofocación en calor, contaminación que se ahoga y que se muere, solamente las autoridades van a tomar acción. La madre, irresponsable. Los padres no hicieron nada. Es la titulación que nos van a dar. ¿Qué esperamos? ¿Que haya un muerto más ahí? ¿Con ese apeste que tiene su vecina de Lili Chávez? ¿En esas trailers? ¿De qué sirve de que haya control animal? A lo mejor tiene animales muertos. Dios no lo quiera que hasta un ser humano esté ahí muerto. Esperamos que otro lo averigüe, que otro reaccione y que haya averiguaciones. Mientras nadie tiene derecho ni de actuar. Ni la policía, ni los concejales, ni salubridad. Ni los homeless tienen derecho de vivir con apeste. A ellos en otros lugares donde están en los shelters los bañan, les piden que se bañen. Gracias.
Gracias. If there is no objection by members of the City Council Successor Agency, I will close public participation for non-agenda items. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation for items listed on the agenda.
Thank you. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom may make a request by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will begin to hear from the members of the public that are physically present. We did not receive any written communication.
Thank you. Our first speaker is initials BC on items 4, 10, 11, 12, and 13.
All right, I must have misread it. I want to start with number 9, if that's okay. I'll eliminate some other ones. Oh, the old pot shops. Yeah. In exchange for public benefits. Come buy our pot and we'll have some educational benefits. The more pot of ours that you smoke is going to increase your reading scores at school. It'll increase your math scores. Oh wait, there hasn't been any evidence presented to approve such a thing. But you went ahead with it anyway, in spite of 250 residents who all were unanimously opposed to it. But you try to say you showed some courage and went against the group. No, you didn't. You showed just how corrupt you are doing somebody else's bidding. Over in Downey where I live, we have a candidate, Pot Shop Louie we call him. He's friends of some of yours over here. He's friends with our mayor. They're going to try to get him into Downey too, and you have streamlined it to come into this city too. And it brings nothing but crime and ridiculousness. You know, that's all it ever does. So, consultants. You've got some consultants. I'll skip over a couple of those. Stop wasting the city's money and the residents' money on consultants. You do the work. That's what they hired you to do. The people voted for you to write the contracts, to do this sort of thing. You don't need, but again, not one of you gave an original thought or idea when reading the presentations tonight. It was all AI generated. You're hired to do the work and be accountable for it. You can't do it? Is that what the deal is? You're not the only council, though, in this situation. Downey is the same way. People are incapable of doing the job that they're hired to do. And take a chance. Show some leadership. Get out there. Give it a shot. I think your residents will understand. Do some common sense things. You don't need to hire consultants like to raise taxes all the time. Over in Downey, they pay $130,000 for a consultant to come in to try to teach the public how to accept taxation on themselves for a hotel. Now they want us to raise another 0.25% sales tax because they're running on a deficit and the money's getting short. Come on, step up, do your job.
There's no objection by the members. I will close public participation. City Manager, will you please give your report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Gomez. First, just want to acknowledge that there are obviously 4 council members up here on the dais. Councilmember Maria Pulido resigned from her elected seat on the council effective September 10th due to family issues, family commitments, and responsibilities. The council has the option to either appoint somebody to that seat or wait for the election to fill that seat naturally, as Maria's seat is up for election in 6 weeks. So as of this time, there's nothing been agendized for the council regarding an appointment. So there will be an election 6 weeks from tomorrow, which is 42 days, 11 weeks from tomorrow, so about 2.5 months. There will be a swearing in that will be based on the results of the certified election from November. So at some time between now and then, if the council were to change their mind and request an item be brought up on the agenda, they could make an appointment. But barring that request, the seat will be filled naturally through the election that occurs in 6 weeks, and the filling of the seat will occur in 11 weeks. So wanted to make a comment and note on that. With that, yesterday was the first day of fall. This is the time of year that there are a lot of community events from a lot of different departments and a lot of different areas. I'll go over some of the things that we've done the last couple weeks since the last council meeting, and then some things that are coming up between now and the next meeting in the second week of October. Back on September 10th, we had an Eco Gardener workshop with the Water Replenishment District. I think that's the first workshop I recall us co-hosting with the Water Replenishment District, at least in the recent history. On September 13th, we had a successful El Grito of Independence at Veterans Park. So thanks to the council, thanks to the staff, police department, public works, recreation, community services. Thanks to the participants, all the dancers, the artists, the consulate, and also thanks to the residents and the people that came out to participate in the event. It was a great event. Several thousand people. Everybody was safe, had a great time. I think everybody left wanting more, if I recall. That's for Councilmember Chavez. More dancing, I think, more at the Grito.
Mike, I could have sworn I was going to see you at that there dancing. But
I was there, I was dancing in my mind.
now we got to see it in person.
September 17th and 18th, we had our monthly tenant and property owner workshops. Also, the police department, Neighborhood Watch had a meeting at Gallant Park on September 17th. Those community meetings are always helpful. There's always a couple of notes that come out of those meetings from council members or participants through the police chief regarding issues at that park, regarding lighting, patrol, and things of that nature. So shows that those types of events really help bring some things to light that we can work on and improve on. I also want to mention on September 25th, so going forward, we had Spirit Family Services were here. Just a reminder to people, they have regular office hours at the Community Family Services Center over at Veterans Park. It's the 4th Wednesday of every month. Generally, that's the last Wednesday. It's on our calendar. This next one will be September 25th. From 2 to 6 p.m. So if anybody heard the presentation regarding Domestic Violence Awareness Month and there's anything that you could use help with, there's an option for you to come by the Spirit office hours later this week. Coming up on Sunday, September 29th, we have the Southeast LA to Sinaloa ride at Veterans Park to support Rosario Chayitos Quintero's ride, annual ride to Sinaloa. It's an event that's going to go for most of the first half of the day. Bike checks at 7:30, and then booths, activities, games, a street ride throughout the city, and then a children's ride in the park for those that are under 13 or 14 years old. For all these events, if you download our app or if you go to Bell Gardens calendar, just do a Google search, Bell Gardens calendar, you can click through the calendar and click on these dates and you have more information to sign up. On October 2nd, there's a follow-up Neighborhood Watch meeting, this time at Marlowe Park. The last one had, I believe, parking enforcement. This one has churros with a cop. That sounds maybe less informative, but better tasting. That one's again at October 2nd from 6 to 7 p.m. at Marlowe Park. So anybody that's interested in Marlowe Park, goes to Marlowe Park, lives near Marlowe Park, this would be a good opportunity to get out there and let us know about things that are going on there, and to meet up with Neighborhood Watch and the police chief and the staff. October 5th, this is an interesting one I don't recall from previous years. It's a smoke alarm installation event. We're partnering with the Red Cross, State Farm, and I think a couple of other agencies. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you're resident, you go to our app or go to our website, go to October 5th, and you can register for free smoke alarm to be installed in your home. So the safety device, and as everybody on the council has seen, I think people here, there are electrical fires and fires that occur at residents' houses in Southern California and Bell Gardens in particular. On Sunday, October 6th, it'll be the first annual Eddie Cochran Memorial Car Show at Ford Park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to celebrate cars, music, fashion, culture of the 1950s and 60s while honoring hometown Eddie Cochran. The key I take away, first off, is spectators are free, so a great free event to experience, some retro vibe, see some cool cars, music, pinup contests, things of that nature, and there's still time to register your vehicles. Again, if you go to our app, go to the calendar page, or go to the website, our calendar page, you can find more information. Wednesday, October 9th, Coffee with a Cop from 8 to 10 a.m. at the McDonald's over on Florence. Thursday, October 10th, there's a police department open house. It's the Faith in Blue edition. It'll be in the police department parking lot from 5 to 7 p.m. There'll be a vehicle display, food, drinks, and general fellowship. So you notice there were a lot of events going on. As I mentioned, it's fall. The weather's great outside. It's a good time to go out and meet with the community. Obviously, the police department, I think, had several events there, and I think those meetings and interactions are always very positive and give the chief and definitely up to the city manager ideas for things that we can work on. The final thing I'd like to say, Mayor and Council, just mention always on the consent calendar, we've got some interesting items there. Conflict of interest code update, second reading of a retail cannabis development agreement to bring some additional revenue to the city and its residents. We've got several contract amendments for environmental, transit activities, grant writing services, city-funded crossing guard services, and the last thing we have is a 2-year extension of our water bill assistance program. That helps qualifying residents to cover the cost of any water rate increase from a year-over-year basis. It was originally approved by council for 3 years, but there's still 2 more rate increases scheduled to occur. So the recommendation is to extend that program for a 2-year period. And with that, I'll thank you, Mayor.
Wow, that was a lot going on. Thank you. We will now move to the consent calendar. Does any member of the council successor agency wish to pull an item for separate discussion? Hearing none, I will now call for a motion to approve items numbers 2 through 16 of the consent calendar.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion by Council Member Sanchez and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Barcena. City Clerk, please conduct a roll call vote.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the council and successor agency, Chavez.
That'll be an aye with the exception of number 9. That'll be a no. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Barcena
Yes.
and Mayor Gomez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
City Manager, will you please announce discussion item number 17?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor Gomez. This is the local commission's appointment list that we bring every council meeting. It is staff's recommendation the council review the appointments list and by motion remove commissioners and or make appointments to the posted vacancies. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Does any member of the council have any changes to make? Okay, seeing none, we will move forward. City Manager, please announce discussion item number 18.
Thanks again, Mayor Gomez. This item is consideration of a resolution approving an agreement with Greenfields Outdoor Fitness for the purchase and installation of outdoor fitness equipment at Veterans Park. This is an idea that I know staff's very excited about. I think it's a transformative project and really encourages fitness there at Veterans Park. And so before I say any more, I'll turn it over to our Public Works Director, Bernie Iniguez, to provide a presentation on this project. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. O'Kelly. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. I will go ahead and wait for the presentation to be pulled up. For background, as was discussed at the previous council meeting, this is a continuation of the next phase of the Veterans Park refurbishment project. And again, the city was awarded $3.9 million in 2022 of Prop 68 state grant money. And then in 2024, the city was awarded an additional $700,000 of HUD federal money. So in all, we have almost $4.7 million to complete these improvements, and that is incorporated into the current fiscal year CIP budget. Here we have a list of the components that make up the entire project. I'll turn your attention to the items below. So again, the items in green were adopted or approved at the last council meeting, and these are lighting improvements. And for your consideration tonight is the item in yellow, which is the outdoor fitness center area. Here's again the conceptual for the Prop 68 grant that was submitted. And for consideration tonight will be the outdoor fitness area, which is going to be to the south of the playground in that particular area. So it's the playground, yeah, so it's just to the south of that. For background, again, the Veterans Park refurbishment project will be completed in multiple phases, and this is to maximize our funding sources, but also to expedite some of our priority and safety projects. So in order to expedite this outdoor fitness equipment project, the city did pursue, again, a cooperative purchasing solution. For the rest of the components, staff does intend to put out a request for proposals for design services, and this will complete the entire scope. This will be within the next couple of months with the intention of awarding a contract or recommending a contract for award in early 2025. So again, the goal for staff is to put out the entire project by the summer of 2025 and to deliver all the components by fall of 2026, even though technically we have until June of 2028. So why the need for outdoor fitness equipment? The city struggles with some of the highest rates of childhood obesity and diabetes mortality rates within LA County. And the community can benefit from improvements of exercise equipment and recreation options at Veterans Park. A 2016 LA County study did identify the city as having the second highest childhood obesity rate within the county, and that was at 39.5% of the area's children being identified as being obese. The city also ranked in the 80th percentile in the number of premature deaths due to diabetes, and in the 77th percentile in premature cardiovascular disease deaths. So based on city-hosted Prop 68 workshops with members of the community, the installation of exercise equipment was identified by those members being needed in order to combat the city's high obesity rates and promote wellness. With that in mind, Public Works did reach out to Greenfields Outdoor Fitness and inquire about purchasing and installing equipment based on their Sourcewell pricing. Sourcewell did put out a competitive solicitation and did award a contract to Greenfields for outdoor fitness equipment with related accessories and services. This included the installation of equipment. So Public Works did obtain a quote of $396,491.92 from Greenfields, and this was based on Greenfields Sourcewell pricing. In regard to the project scope, the proposed fitness area will be again constructed to the south of the existing playground, and it will incorporate various fitness components. This is going to be aimed to promote physical activity, enhance agility, and foster community wellness through an interactive and accessible fitness area. This new outdoor fitness area will feature several components, and this will include apparatus that includes leg, chest, triceps, and vertical press equipment, squat equipment, upright bikes, rowers, and steppers, and also a 12% challenge fitness rig. Here we see the proposed area for the outdoor fitness equipment. So again, here we see the existing playground, and right to the south is the proposed fitness area. Here we see 30 pieces of equipment that are proposed, and these 30 units will be able to provide service to up to 52 people at the same time. This image shows the proposed surfacing. So to the lower left, we see a concrete pad with individual pieces, and these will be surface mounted on the new concrete pad. To the upper right, we see pour-in-place rubberized surfacing similar to the playground. This is to help assist in fall zones. For example, this unit here has a 96-inch clearance, so that is why that is being recommended. Here we see a conceptual image of what our future fitness area would look like. This is facing towards the east. And here's the same area facing towards the south. The next few slides will show some of the individual equipment. So here we have 3 pieces, 3 additional pieces. Here's some more. Here are 4 pieces. And this is the 12-person challenge rig. And again, at the same time, this will accommodate 12 people to do various exercises. So here are 6 of them, followed by the other 6. The project will also include 2 customized announcement signs, and these will state safety guidelines for the public. It can acknowledge donors, such as our granting partners with the state, and it will include health messages and safety guidelines. Each individual piece of equipment will also have labels and instructions affixed to the equipment, again, on how to operate the equipment. It'll also show the accessibility symbol, so we do have some pieces of equipment that will accommodate people with disabilities. Also included with this package includes the Greenfields Outdoor Fitness app. So again, each piece of equipment will have a SKU similar to the upper right. And when that is pulled up, the app will identify for the community where this equipment is, as well as provide video tutorials on how to utilize the equipment. It will help track individual workouts for the public. It will also provide biometric information. And again, this is the interactive part of this project. In regard to the construction schedule, we would afford 80 working days from the issuance of the notice to proceed. That equates to roughly 16 weeks. And this will include the ordering of the material and equipment, the scheduling, and the installation. Therefore, if the contract were to be awarded tonight, the actual installation will be anticipated to begin in November of 2024 and be completed by December of 2024. So this is an expedited process. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the attached resolution approving an agreement with Greenfields for the purchase and installation of outdoor fitness equipment for a total amount not to exceed $396,491.92, and also authorize the city manager to execute that agreement, but also approve any change orders that may be necessary up to an amount not to exceed 10% of the agreement amount. This concludes my staff report, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments?
What's the maintenance like for these machines if one were to break down or be damaged? Do we know?
Yes, so these pieces of equipment carry a 10-year warranty for all the metallic parts. It carries a 5-year warranty for any moving components. And it carries a standard 1-year warranty for the installation. I do have experience with another agency installing this equipment, and Greenfields was great to honor any repair needs.
Great, thank you so much.
Anyone?
Yes, thank you for that presentation. And I just want to share my experience with playgrounds. I did get a grant for Marlow Park, and we built a playground there. I also got another grant for Veterans Park. And let me just say that this is an awesome deal as far as what we're getting for our money, because those playgrounds tend to be very, very expensive. And when Mike told me about this particular project and he explained what they were able to accomplish and put together, this is beyond what we, and when I say we, I mean the residents of Bell Gardens over the last 10 years imagined, right? This is almost like an outdoor gym, and it's super impressive to me, and the fact that it's coming in at this cost, I just think we're very lucky. I feel very fortunate to be here at this moment. So I'm super excited about it. I want to thank staff for bringing this so quickly, right? I know that we've had this grant for many years already, and we were concerned about the deadline being extended once already, but I think this is something great. I don't know if we would have been able to do this even a couple years ago when we had the grant. So just want to share that I'm excited about it. I think this is awesome, and yeah, thank you.
Anyone else?
I just want to thank staff and thank you to city manager as well. I really appreciate this incredible opportunity to our residents. And I think that, again, Veterans Park is a start, right? The hope is that this expands to our nearby parks, the small parks as well, and we continue showing them some love as well. So with that said, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been a part of this, and looking forward to the future. Thanks.
So I do have a couple of questions. One, we already talked about maintenance in terms of the equipment itself, right? If it breaks or what happens once the warranty is gone, right? Who foots the bill for that, and what does that cost potentially look like? And my second question is regarding the QR code that's on there. I'm really concerned about QR code security. I don't know if you've seen, there were recent news reports about, for example, when you go to some of the public parking lots and there's a QR code on there for you to pay, you know, these scammers will slap another QR code on there and people are getting scammed. So my concern is, you know, where exactly are those QR codes going to be placed? What exactly are they for? So if you can answer some of that.
Yes, Mayor. So in regard to the question regarding maintenance, this equipment does have a long warranty. After it does expire, then it would just be the individual component that might break. And this is something we experience with the existing playgrounds. So, for example, a single-use unit might be $4,000, but the cost after warranty to replace one small component would be probably under $500, depending on the part. And that's something that we'll stay on top on. This particular vendor is really proud of their equipment. And like I said, I do have past experience with them in another agency, and they're highly responsive. Even without a warranty issue, they want their equipment to speak for itself. So I have no issues in Greenfields Outdoor Fitness maintaining that integrity and reputation. Regarding the SKU, the QR code, this is only for the Greenfields app. So when you pull it, you have to be using the app, and all it does is pull up that piece of equipment. And it shows you the video tutorials. It shows you for your individual workouts, how you want to set them. There is no personal information that will be gathered from this, and that's all it is. You can do that, or you can punch in the name of the equipment, which is on the label itself. So it's just to expedite that being pulled up.
And one more question in terms of cleanliness, okay? There's gonna be a lot of people touching that equipment. You know, COVID isn't gone, right? And it's not just COVID, it's a bunch of other, you know, things that people can catch. So I'm hoping that we will have some sort of protocol to clean those things regularly.
Definitely, we'll go ahead and incorporate that into our routine maintenance for the parks, including the playgrounds. And also, we do have restroom facilities available. So we'll go ahead and work with Recreation and Community Services to make sure that all of those hygienic features, sanitary features are available to our public.
Thank you. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple things that I forgot to mention. One is, any trees going to be impacted at the building of this? Any trees?
No. So the pad that we propose, the only impact will be to some of irrigation controls, valves that we're going to go ahead and move. But there will be no impact to the trees because they actually, come to find out, provide a grade canopy. So as was stated in one of the slides, this project overall includes shade sails. So now that will allow us an opportunity to maybe place them somewhere else because of the great canopy we have there for the bulk of the time, they'll provide cover for the users.
Yeah, that was going to be my second question about following up on the shade structure. So, I mean, I think one of the common things we consistently hear is, for example, when we got like some benches on Veterans Park, right in front of like the playground specifically, parents were very happy that we got them, but there wasn't like any shade attached to them. And I mean, if you go right after school, I mean, the sun is just beaming hot. So I wanted to know if there was going to be any shade additions to the gym equipment outside, but it seems like some of them are going to be included as well.
Yes, they will. Once I bring on the designer, the architect, that they're registered professionals, so that they'll be better able to provide their professional opinion as to where we should site these two cells that we need.
Thank you.
And Councilmember, just we were so proud to get all those benches around the playgrounds a couple years ago, through I think somewhat innovative procurement method. Maybe we can talk with the Public Works Director and the Recreation Community Services Director to see if like a bus shelter type setup or something would provide some shade, because I haven't thought of that feature about the sun. There's no shade right in that area, so we provided the benches, and maybe they're unusable sometimes in the hot sun, so we can take a look at that.
There used to be a big tree in the center, and then they dug out the tree, they got rid of the tree, but the well was still left, and this was, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. No, probably more. Growing up, I remember going on that tree. And then when we got into council, I think like late 2010s and then early 2020, the well was just left there. And I was like, well, is another tree going to be put in there? But I know some folks like the tree there. But regardless, I'm all for the idea of having some sort of shelter. I don't know if we can retrofit a bus shelter on there, but something like that would be helpful. Yeah, thank you.
We'll definitely look into that. We think outside the box.
All right, thank you. If there are no other questions or comments, I may have a motion to adopt the attached resolution and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Move.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Barcena and a second by Councilmember Chavez. I'm sorry, Councilmember Sanchez. City
I'll
Clerk?
third. I'll go ahead and
Okay, you'll third it?
There
Okay.
it is.
City Clerk, please conduct a roll call vote.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the council and successor agency, Chavez.
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Barcena.
Yes.
And Mayor Gomez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, and we will now move to council member comments. Councilmember Chavez.
Briefly, thank you so much for staff for bringing this incredible item. Really appreciate it. Thank you to the residents who stuck around. And then also want to go ahead and perhaps maybe give direction to the city manager and also our director of community development. I know that there's been a couple of concerns shared with us about, mobile home parks, et cetera, specifically. I think in the past we've had some discussion about them. And unfortunately, I think this mobile home park issue deals with HCD at the state level, the Housing and Community Development Department for the state of California. And what I would ask is, and legal counsel, please correct us, correct me if we can't do this, but perhaps maybe sending a letter to HCD requesting them to assist in this issue. I think last time I had shared this conversation with our director. We had forwarded a letter to HCD, and there was such a delay because HCD is so understaffed, and I think it's 1,000 residents per unit, right? So let me rephrase that. It's 1,000 residents per one inspector, right? I think at the time, me and Mayor Gomez, we got to see, and I don't know if that's the same mobile home park, but I think we've had a presentation about mobile home parks here. In the past, there's been discussions as to whether or not red stabilization was for mobile home parks, but I think nonetheless, I think we should definitely look into this issue, and I would request that we bring an update to the city council and see if the letter got sent and then what their response was. With that said, I want to move to a positive note and say I think there's 2 council meetings left before November. I want to encourage everyone to come out and vote. It's very important, not only here for your local city, but across the ballot. There's a lot of stuff on the ballot this year, and I want to encourage everyone to vote and make your voice heard. I believe ballots drop before our next council meeting, and I just want to say thank you again, everyone, for the opportunity. And I'm looking forward to our next council meeting. So with that said, thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, Councilmember Sanchez.
I just want to thank staff. I know that earlier the city manager read a list of events happening, right? And I know during this time, the last few months of the year, it just is super busy. So I just want to acknowledge all the work that you guys continue to do for our community and our residents. And obviously your work does not go unnoticed. Thank you so much for all the small victories and the wins that we got with this grant. I know that for a lot of residents, it was a long time coming to get a lot of these things done. So thank you so much.
Mayor Pro Tem Barcena.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask if we can please take a look at that issue. I know that you guys are already taking a look at it. I contacted you guys previously on behalf of a different resident from the same area, the public comment people were here for. So it might not be under the same name, but it's a similar complaint, had to do with the drain, the sewer and all that. And I think there was also the issue with the animals. And I just want us to imagine that we had to go home right now. I haven't been there for the animal stench that was mentioned. I haven't been there personally, even though I know most of the council has literally been there in person about other issues, right? But I want you guys to imagine that you have to go home and there's a pungent smell and it's persisting for a while now. I think we're very fortunate that we don't have to deal with that, but I do want to, inject a little bit of urgency into this matter and see what we can do. I know that we have limitations. Obviously, we can't just go in someone's house, right? That's not something that we can do. I think the desperation is clear, the urgency is clear that we need to do everything we can, everything we are able to do within our legal bounds. And I just want to encourage everyone to please put this on top of the priority list because it's just a pretty bad living condition, I think. Thank you.
Just to put you at ease, sir, we have a wellness check that's going on tonight. Chief and I have been texting.
Thank
you so much. I appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I could say something. I'm very familiar with the resident, and I could just let you know and let members of the city council that we have worked with the resident. We've been going back and forth. I will personally give her a call tomorrow and have her come over so we can meet with her. And today we'll create a call for service to go out there and look at whatever we can, whatever is within our limits. But I just want to reassure everyone that we have been working with her. At least I have met with her and we've been going back and forth. But you're correct. It gets a little bit weird because I think that's state property. And I'll work with my peer, with Director Romo, and we'll try to figure out how we could go in there. And but she's right about about some of those issues. But I think we're limited. At least the police department, and I'll work with Mr. Romo to figure out what we could do with other agencies.
Thank you, Chief. And I understand the way that you feel because I do believe that you've been working with her. I have been working with her also. And I just want to share a little bit of how I feel. I mean, these are residents that I talk to regularly. Like, they have my number, they can text me, they can call me. I talked to her recently. She mentioned it in a more casual way, but I have known that it's a continued issue. So when she came today and she provided the public comment, I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed because I feel like I'm not doing my job. And but I also understand that sometimes it's hard for residents to express themselves accurately, and that's why I always encourage people to come here and provide their public comment, even if it's gonna hurt our feelings, right? It's a way to get their message out, and I'm not offended by it. I did feel embarrassed, but the final point is that we just need to do our best, and I think we are on the right path. So I want to thank you for that, and just keep me posted on how that goes, and hopefully we can find a solution. I appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you. And to echo my colleagues' sentiments here regarding the mobile home park that we're talking about, it's incredibly frustrating as a council member, and I'm sure as, our managers, as a police chief, to know that we are limited in what we can do. But I think that to Councilmember Chavez's point, I think there comes a time when, we need to take a further action. And if that means that we need to write a letter to HCD, a letter to the state somehow, I mean, we need to really stand up for these residents, because those are not the types of living conditions that anyone should have to live in this country. And so I think that if we need to take a step further, I'm on board with that. Thank you for that suggestion. I'm completely on board with that, and I want to move forward with that, because, we keep writing, we keep calling, we keep waiting. For us, we go home, we have a place to go home to that doesn't smell like rotting flesh, right? For them, this is day in, day out, and it's been for years, apparently, and enough is enough. So I'm ready to sign on whatever letter we can sign on to get some kind of action from the state, from HCD, from whomever we need to get action from to get the situation resolved. Because beyond the stench, beyond the unsanitary conditions there are a host of other problems. Electricity. We have, Southern California Edison that doesn't want to go in there and touch it because of the way that it's been, Mickey Moused. So, I think enough is enough, and we need to do something a lot stronger. So I appreciate you for listening to us on that, and for hearing our concerns about that. To the residents that came out and spoke about it, again, I echo what Mayor Pro Tem Barcena says. It feels like we're not doing our job when we're not pushing harder, and so I think we should push harder on this. Thank you for all of the great events that we had this summer. It's officially fall, the most wonderful time of the year. It's Libra season, as I like to say. So, yay Libras. There were 3 of us here, yay. And I'm looking forward to all of the events that we're going to be having in October. It's going to be great. The Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, everything else that's coming up. This is definitely the best time of the year. So thank you in advance for all your hard work. Staff always does such a great job at our events. Please come out on Sunday. It's finally here. Our Cela to Sinaloa Community Ride. Chayito Quintero, our musician, our singing cyclist from Bell Gardens. He will be riding from Bell Gardens to Sinaloa over 1,000 miles. It's going to take him 3 days. 3 days, 3 weeks. Good Lord, I wish it was 3 days, right? It's going to take him 3 weeks approximately to get down to Sinaloa. He goes by himself on his bicycle with his gear, and, camps out wherever the night catches him, I guess, right? But we're supporting him. We ask that you support him as well. If you would like to donate to the cause, Cela Kiwanis is the agency that is collecting the funds, and those funds will benefit Cela Kiwanis Kids Club, and it will also benefit one of our local charities. So please support him. It will also support him on his ride. So please come out on Sunday. Bring your bike. Bring a helmet, and even if you don't have a helmet, if you're over 18, it's okay. But if you're under 18, you have to wear a helmet. So we'll see you there on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to the car show as well. Yes, sir.
Just wanted to thank you for reminding me that he's a musician. We have a Noche Bohemia that one of our community members volunteer group called BG Arts is putting together. I just want to invite any of you that might have a talent, like singing or playing an instrument, or also the council. Everyone is invited. It's on Thursday from 6 to 9. Just let us know if you'd like to attend. I see Gus looking at me. I know that he probably
Gonna
plays
be
guitar or
karaoke.
something. Are you a drummer, Gus, or? Okay, awesome.
It's more of a dance crew.
But I'm gonna reach out to Chayito, because I think it would be nice for him to be there and also promote the event on Sunday, right? Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, where will it be? From 6 to 9 this Thursday?
It's going to be at Veterans Park.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. If I could add one more thing, Mayor. Just for that letter that we're going to send out, I think it'd be a great opportunity to loop in our Assemblywoman Blanca Pacheco and then State Senator Lina Gonzalez. They're obviously in Sacramento, but now they're back in the district. But I think it'd be a great opportunity if the city made that formal request with them to sign on to it too. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you. So at this point, if there's no objection by the members, I will now adjourn the City Council Successor Agency Joint Meeting at 7:38 PM. Thank you.